You have moved too soon, too many times. You felt ready, you felt the moment, and you moved, and it cost you. Not because your move was wrong, because your timing was. And the difference between those two things is the difference between a life that works and a life that almost works. You have also waited too long. You saw the window, you felt it, and you hesitated. Calculated the risk one more time, asked one more person, prepared one more thing, and when you finally moved, the window was closed. The opportunity had already chosen someone else. Timing. It is the one variable that separates identical moves into victories and defeats. The same words spoken at different moments produce completely different outcomes. The same plan executed at different times builds empires or collapses careers, and nobody taught you how to read it. The men who keep winning around you, who always seem to be in the right place at the right moment, whose moves land while yours bounce, they are not luckier than you. They're reading something you have not been taught to read. They're watching a clock you do not know exists. Robert Greene spent 3 decades studying the most decisive operators in human history. He read every biography, every battle record, every court document of every man who built or lost power, and the single most consistent variable in every outcome, in every rise and every fall, was not intelligence, not resources, not connections, timing. This video is about learning to read that clock, about developing the one skill that multiplies every other skill you have, because the best plan executed at the wrong moment is worse than a mediocre plan executed at exactly the right one. Because timing is not luck, it is not instinct, it is a discipline, a learnable, practicable, refinable skill that the most powerful operators in history deliberately developed and that you can begin building today. Stay with this, because what you are about to understand about timing and what it has been costing you every time you moved too soon or waited too long will permanently change how you read every competitive situation you inhabit. The man who controls his timing controls every outcome. Let me show you how. The man who controls his timing controls every outcome. Let me show you how. Let us start with what you were taught about timing. Work hard and the right moment will come. Be ready and opportunity will find you. Strike while the iron's hot. Move fast or miss out. These pieces of advice sound like wisdom. Most of them are incomplete, and some of them are actively dangerous. Move fast or miss out produced a generation of men who move before they are ready, who act from anxiety rather than strategy, who confuse urgency with opportunity and busyness with progress. The fastest mover is not the winner. The best timed mover is. And patience is a virtue produced men who wait indefinitely, who mistake inaction for wisdom, who are always preparing but never moving, whose patience is not strategic delay, but fear dressed in philosophical clothing. This knowledge is for protection, not destruction. Understanding timing is not about becoming calculating toward people. It is about developing the strategic intelligence to know when your moves will land and when they will bounce. That intelligence protects everything you are building. The system you operate in does not reward the best plans. It rewards the best timed plans. The workplace does not promote the hardest worker. It promotes the person who makes his move at precisely the moment the decision maker is most receptive. The negotiation does not go to the most prepared party. It goes to the one who knows when to apply pressure and when to create space. Comment right now. Think of the last time you moved too soon and paid for it. Not the details, just acknowledge it happened. And then think of the last time you waited too long and watched the window close. Both of those moments are data, and data is the beginning of mastery. The people who keep arriving before you are not better positioned. They have developed, consciously or through hard experience, a sensitivity to the moment that you have never been taught to cultivate. They feel the room shifting before it shifts. They read the hesitation in the other party before it becomes resistance. They know when the decision-maker's guard is down before he does. And that sensitivity is not a gift. It is built through observation, through patience, through the deliberate practice of watching how situations develop before moving and noting what the correctly timed move produces versus the mistimed one. Robert Greene documented this in case after case. The men who shaped history, who built empires, won wars, transformed industries, were almost universally characterized not by the quality of their plans, but by the quality of their timing. The plan was the vehicle, the timing was the engine. Napoleon said he made his plans of attack from the temperament of his enemy. He studied not just what to do, but when, reading his opponent's psychological state, their fatigue, their overconfidence, their moments of doubt, and moving at exactly the moment those conditions made his move unstoppable. You are not Napoleon, but you are in negotiations, in career competitions, in social dynamics where the same principle applies. The best time to make your move is not when you are most ready. It is when the environment and the other party are most receptive. That is a completely different calculation, and it is the one most men never make. And now, the man who studied this more comprehensively than anyone in the modern era. The man who read 10,000 historical cases and extracted from them the precise principles of strategic timing that the powerful have always used and never taught. Robert Greene. The man who made visible what the powerful preferred to keep invisible, who translated 2,000 years of strategic timing into principles that any man willing to study them can apply immediately. Because the powerful do not teach timing, they benefit from the mistimed moves of those around them. Every time you move too soon, you give them something to work with. Every time you wait too long, you clear the path for them. Your timing failures are their competitive advantage. That transfer ends today. Meet Robert Greene and the 6 timing principles that will permanently change how every competitive situation you face develops from this point forward. Robert Greene, born 1959, Los Angeles. A man who worked 50 jobs across 2 decades, in Hollywood, in construction, in journalism, in translation, absorbing the dynamics of power, timing, and human nature in every environment he passed through. He co-wrote The 48 Laws of Power with Joost Elifers in 1998, a book rejected by every major publisher, eventually printed, and then banned in multiple prison systems because the authorities determined it was too dangerous for inmates. Think about what that tells you about the power of what is inside it. He followed it with Mastery, The Art of Seduction, The 33 Strategies of War, The Laws of Human Nature, each book a different lens on the same fundamental insight. That human outcomes are not random. They're produced by specific, identifiable, learnable behaviors, and timing is the behavior that underlies all of them. Greene studied the masters of timing across every domain. Military strategists, political operators, artists, entrepreneurs, seducers, scientists. In every domain, the decisive variable between those who produced historical results and those who produced nothing was the same: when they moved. And from that study, from 30 years of reading how the world actually works rather than how we are told it works, came the one line that contains everything you need to understand about timing and power. Never appear to be in a hurry. Hurrying betrays a lack of control over yourself and over time. Always seem patient, as if you know that everything will come to you eventually. Never appear to be in a hurry. Not because hurrying is wrong in itself, but because visible hurry signals to everyone around you that you are reacting rather than orchestrating. That time is controlling you rather than the reverse. And always seem patient, as if you know that everything will come to you eventually. The operative word is seem, not be patient, seem patient. Because the internally urgent man who appears patient has a weapon. The internally urgent man who appears urgent has only his urgency. This is not about being slow. It is about appearing unhurried regardless of your internal state, about controlling what the environment reads from your movement, because the moment the environment reads urgency from you, it has information, and information, as we discussed in the previous video, belongs to you. And now, 6 specific timing principles from Greene's framework, each one immediately applicable, each one changing a specific competitive dynamic you are currently losing on timing alone. Lesson 1. Read before you move. Greene's foundational timing principle: the correct moment for any move is determined by the environment, not your readiness. Your readiness is preparation. The environment's readiness is timing. Both must be present. Most men only check one. The environment signals its readiness through specific indicators. Fatigue in the opposition when they are tired of the current situation. Shifting alliances when the people who were against your move begin moving away from their position. Emerging vacuums when a space opens that was previously occupied. These signals precede the moment. The man who reads them moves with the environment rather than against it. Greene studied Caesar's crossing of the Rubicon, the most famous timing decision in Western history.
Caesar did not cross because he was most ready. He crossed because the political environment in Rome had reached the precise configuration that made his crossing the moment of maximum impact. He read the environment first. He moved second. Your Rubicon is not a river. It is the conversation you have been postponing, the move you have been preparing for, the position you have been building toward. And the question is not whether you are ready. You may have been ready for months. The question is whether the environment is ready for you. Comment what move are you currently prepared for but have not yet made. You do not need to share what it is, just acknowledge it happened. And then think of the last time you waited too long and watched the window close. Both of those moments are data, and data is the beginning of mastery. The people who keep arriving before you are not better positioned. They have developed, consciously or through hard experience, a sensitivity to the moment that you have never been taught to cultivate. They